do you, besides group, do you have like a critique group or a core group of readers that give you opinions on your writing?
Actually, no, Jenna. In fact, I didn't actually share much of my writing until about like a year or so before you joined. Like I was
Mhm.
very secretive, very protective of it. There's an entire year where I would just show up and hear other people and share nothing. And they'd
Wow.
always ask me like, "Hey, why don't you share?" And I was always very protective of it. But then when I did start sharing, I realized, oh, like in a way, this is kind of like closing those open tabs in the back of my mind.
Mhm.
Now I finally put it out there in some form, and now I can be at peace, so to speak.
Mhm.
So, other than that group, not really.
That's interesting because I remember having a conversation with Tom, and he was saying that you didn't share your writing until recently,
Oh,
when he was talking to me about who you were. So, yes, I've heard that from another person, but then he followed that up with, and he's so good. I don't know why he wasn't sharing his
it's kind
writing
of
for
him to say.
people. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's true. I think that especially your poetry, because I haven't read much else, but your poetry has a way of resonating with people. And I do remember one feedback session where everybody got something different or had a different favorite line. And that's one thing I like about you actually would have a very, very good success in a critique group, like a focus critique group, because you always pick a line and you always tell whoever's reading, this was my favorite line because, or this stood out to me, which I think is a really good quality for a critiquer to have because sometimes you get so much negative, it's nice to remember that positive. And so when I read my stuff, I'm always thinking about what you're going to say, like, what is your favorite line going to be? So that's helpful.
Thank
I
you.
think as you continue to write poetry, I think that you should find like a focused group of poets or something that challenges you. Because the secretive, I totally get that. There's a couple of things you might not want people to take your writing, you might be scared of opinions, but once you put it out there and you get all those opinions, those people are going to push you to do better writing.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
hope that you can find that in the future.
Very kind of you to say, Jenna. Thank you. And yeah, I'm glad to hear that. It's so funny you mentioned because there's this one time that I shared this one poem, and I was very curious about what you would say. And my favorite line, it just didn't resonate with you. And you're like, yeah, I actually just don't understand this. And I was like, oh, that's like one of my favorite lines. It was the one where it's like, caution lurks in his eyes like a canine patrolling his irises. And
Yes,
you're like,
yes, I
I
remember
don't get
that.
this. And I was like, that's funny though to me, that it's interesting. You never know how your writing lands with people. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get really surprised that, oh, that really meant something to someone. I didn't know.
And I think my confusion was totally English teacher. I think there was like a misplaced modifier and I couldn't think of who went, what were the eyes with. I don't know what it was, but I remember bringing that up. That's so funny. Oh, see, it's really important that you come and share your work and get that feedback, I think. When I'm getting really serious, since my novel's on its fifth edit, I at one time was balancing three critique partners because I used to be in a group in Oklahoma City called the Oklahoma City Plot Holes, and
Oklahoma City.
we
Wow.
yes, I lived there for 8 years, and we met at a writers conference, and it was a husband and wife team, and then all of their friends and me. And we would meet at like a coffee shop once a week, and we started meeting at their house. And that was just really productive. Everybody wrote a different genre. There was one guy that did zombie apocalypse stuff, always, always. There was one, we had fantasy. I think I was the only one who wrote young adult. There was a lot of different genres in adult. But no matter the genre, we always made each other better. And we gave other, like, just ways to think of a line or a scene that we would never um, do that. And in sci-fi writers, I really like the fact that we have different opinions. We have different levels of expertise. We have different stages in life, in different types of writing, because you never know what you're going to get. And then new people come all the time and you're blown away and you're just like, wow, why haven't you published something? So I think other people can make you better if you can balance it. There's
Yeah.
one this year, I kind of had to, one of my critique partners had to call it quits because of family stuff, and she was amazing. And I was so sad to lose her. So, and then I had two other partners, and it kind of just went like off a cliff. Like I just didn't have time this year to keep reading their stuff. So if you can get one or two focused partners and you still have time to be part of a group, that's super helpful to your craft, to strengthening it.